Hello, everybody, and I hope you had a wonderful week and a great weekend. But this live stream comes with a great big warning. This stream will contain nuts. Well, like Jack said, yeah, it typically always contains nuts. But this week I had a very busy week, and not in the shop, but lots going on. And this week was both February 11th was my dad's birthday, and unfortunately, it was also the first anniversary of his wife's passing. So it was a day, and but today, February 14th, is Valentine's Day. Who cares? But it's also my nephew's birthday. So happy birthday, Austin. Uh, so between birthdays and I'm going to hopefully go to lunch with him tomorrow because I was busy all day today. I was out looking at real estate this week again wasted time. But took dad to dinner on his birthday, and a couple of family members joined us, and one of the family members, he don't eat much. He don't eat much of anything. Not volume wise, selection wise. It's like cheese sticks and chicken fingers. Doesn't matter. He can be at a Michelin star restaurant and he wants cheese sticks. But anyway, he got his cheese sticks and then he started raving about how good they were. And I said, man, those are frozen cheese sticks that came from the local meat market. Your mom can pick them up and make them at home. There's really nothing special about them. And I said, but they probably deep fry them. And they might use a different oil than what you would expect. So waitress come by and said, I asked her, I said, cheese sticks, frozen? She said, yeah. I said, Tyson's? And she said, yeah. And I said, okay. I said, you deep fry them? She said, yeah, but we deep fry them in peanut oil. And I said, okay. And I said, well, maybe that's why you think they taste so much more special than your typical cheese sticks. She said, yeah, if you come here to this restaurant, everything's deep fried. It's deep fried in peanut oil. So if you got a peanut allergy, you probably don't need to come here. And me being the wise cracker that I am, I immediately fired right back. And I said, if you didn't deep fry a single thing, people with nut allergies probably should beware and stay away from here. She said, why? And I said, because you're all nuts. And that led to an idea for creating an art library for the patrons. So at this time, I've already sent out a mass email to all of the patrons, former patrons, all the former patrons who have successfully signed up with their new memberships on the new website. They have received an email, should have received an email from me with the art library. Now, what I did was last year, all the libraries were for gold patrons only. Well, because I've been so off my game, I went ahead and sent this to everybody that was a paying, or even if they were a previously paying patron membership. If they haven't paid anything yet on a new one, that's fine. I still sent out to everybody, gold, silver, and bronze. If you have not signed up on the new website, if you were a patron, cancel your patrons stuff. Get rid of Patreon. Say bye-bye. Go over to the new website. If you have not watched the video where I said, hey, the new website's up, you'll need to go into the content and look for that, because there is a special link for patrons to click and sign up as your former patron membership. That's how I know you were a former patron, and I can get your coupon codes and everything working again. Okay. Then to get back into the paying sponsorship, that I'm not looking to get anybody else signed up until April 1st, but I will have to send you special links for that too. But you first need to get signed up as the free prepaid patron, Patreon patron from Patreon. Get that link from the video, I think from Friday, 2 Fridays ago. That new website's up. Link in the description. All right. So now that we've got that all out of the way, I wanted to show you how I come up with this. I told you how I got the concept. Like, okay, that's funny. Peanut allergies, and then the warnings, and then turn that from, a peanut warning to, peanut allergy or nut allergy warning, we're all nuts. And so the first thing I thought of was I want a couple of peanuts, a couple of nuts, goofy looking, that are just happy-go-lucky and oblivious. A couple of goofy, oblivious peanuts. With everything that's going on, I don't have time to draw all that. Could I? Yeah, maybe. Could I even draw it in Lightburn? Possibly. I don't have time. So I used Canva. I use Canva for all of my thumbnails for YouTube and all that. But Canva has a built-in AI, and I've shown you guys that once before. And I'm going to show you that here and show you the images that I got and created. And I'm going to show everybody the library that I created that is going out to all of the members on Hobo with Wood. And I haven't looked at any comments or questions. I'll go back and look at that in a few minutes. But I had come up with some images for the peanuts. I've told you guys and gals, there is nothing intelligent about AI. AI is artificial intelligence. Well, it's a fake smart, because it ain't smart at all. I goofed up when I was using this Canva AI and said that I wanted to use, well, I'll show you the prompt, or I wanted it to create this caricature of some peanuts. And I put a capital P on peanut. And by capitalizing that capital P, or that P, and making it capital P, peanuts, that AI assumed I meant Charles Schulz peanuts, which I'm surprised that it didn't come back and say, oh, we can't do that. That's a copyright thing. We can't do that. Yeah, Chris, anti-intelligent. I like that. 3 Rusty Nails. If you did not sign up on the new website as a prepaid patron, you wouldn't have got the email. If you have, then you should have got the email if you used the right email when you signed up. So we'll come back to that 3 Rusty Nails later in the stream, because I want to keep this going. So Canva AI, I'm going to show you. I want to show you some images. In fact, I'm going to scroll down to the first ones, because, like I said, I told it. In fact, the prompt that I used, I said, create a black and white cartoon. I didn't say caricature. I said, create a black and white cartoon of 2 peanuts laughing at each other. That's all, but I used a capital P on peanuts. And these are really sad. Really sad. So I want to show you the struggles. Even though I will use AI sometimes to help me come up with some of this, it ain't always easy to get something that really looks good. So this was the first result. So I said, create a black and white cartoon of 2 peanuts laughing at each other. Well, that's supposed to be probably Charlie and, I don't know if that's Lucy, but I'm guessing it's probably supposed to make it a little different, or different enough so it's not copyright. But this one looks like it's a copy of Charlie Brown and Snoopy, and I don't want to talk about what it looks like it has on its forehead. And this one, he ain't got but one eye and the nose on the side of his head. And here it's two ears. He's got an ear and a dog ear. Same thing over here. It was really, really bad. And so I was like, oh, okay, I see what I did, a capital P. So I went back and I said, create a black and white cartoon of two peanuts laughing at each other. Same exact prompt, but I used a lowercase p. And it gave me three really good options here. And I was like, okay, I like those three. And I ended up using two of those. And I kept working with it. And I said, create a black and white caricature of two peanuts dressed as law enforcement. And those were kind of scary looking. Those were back to Charles Schultz again, and I don't know where that's a peanut. And then I asked it for two peanuts wearing a gun belt, a badge, and a hat. Well, they got on pants, boots, everything, everything else I didn't want. And I tried it again. I said, wearing the only, and I wasn't only, I spelled it wrong, gun belt, badge, hat, no pants or shirt. I want it obvious they are peanuts. And it's still coming back over here to Charles Schultz peanuts again. But I had some pretty good characters in there. Then I wanted an option of a group of peanuts throwing a party in black and white. And we're back to, this almost looks like Dr. Seuss. And this is back to Charles Schultz. And I kept on playing with it, doing different things and giving it different instructions. And I said, give me a single actual peanut and make it extremely goofy in black and white. And he turned out to be one of my favorites. And that's, in fact, that's on the thumbnail tonight. So when you use AI, you have to be careful with your prompts. You have to be deliberate with your prompts. And you sometimes still, it takes multiple tries to get what you want to have there. Let's see here. All right. And is there any, oh, I tickle myself. So I wanted to have one that I had an idea of making a sign that you could hang at your house. So like, warning, welcome, but warning, we're all nuts. And it's a little family of peanuts that are. So I asked it to create me a black and white caricature of a family of four. All should have peanut shaped bodies. And I got some really interesting results. I mean, it gave him peanut shaped body, but just a regular head. It didn't put, I was expecting it to be kind of like a Mr. Potato Head peanut, where it just had some facial features on the nut. But it gave it the peanut body and then put a head on it. And then this next one, I almost think it's X-rated, because the boys, the daddy and the boy, what looks like supposed to maybe be their belly button, looks like it could be a belly button or anything else that's sticking out down there. I don't know. And then for whatever reason, they come over here and gave me this one with a family of four, and three of them look like they're normal folks. But the baby girl, she's a baby peanut. Oh, no, and Chris, it didn't work. Chris says you need to specify not Charles Schultz peanuts. You didn't think I tried that? Right here. This is the prompt for this. Create a caricature of a loving family of four peanuts, not Schultz's peanuts, in black and white. And look, first thing it did was Charles Schultz's peanuts. And then it gives me these over here with four eyes. I don't know what's going on with that family. So, yeah, I tried that 2 or 3 times, not Charles Schultz's peanuts, and it still was spinning it. Once I planted that little seed in its peanut brain, it continued to spit those out. So that's where the images for these peanuts came from that I ended up using in the art library. But then I went to Chat GPT and I literally spoke with Chat GPT, turned the mic on and said, "Hey, I've got this idea. I was sitting at dinner and this is what happened." I told Chat GPT the story. And it gave me an idea of creating a warning parody for Peanuts. And it explained it. And it said, "Oh, that could be funny." And I'm like, "Okay, now I need you to spit out some ideas, conceptualize it in a short and precise, because we don't need it to be, a 50-minute, reading to make, you want it to be short, punchy, quick." So using Chat GPT, uh, in fact, it said, "Hey, this is it's a solid setup. Short, funny, familiar. Yeah, people are expecting a warning, and all of a sudden it's fun." And it came in with some different ideas. You want it to be short, friendly, restaurant style, deadpan. And I said, "No, I want it to be generic. Do not enter." Got it. So it gave me some ideas. Nut allergy, do not enter. And then had my funny little peanuts. And I'm like, okay, those are good, but it needs to suggest we're all nuts. And he says, "Okay, fine, I understand." So come up with some more ideas and kept spitting out some things, and I kept refining it. I said, "Well, what do you think about allergic to nut? How about these nuts?" And I've never seen the first meme that really went crazy with these nuts, but I said, "You know what? Got to throw at least one of those in there," and it's in the library. And it's like, that's a really, really good idea. Very, very popular. Immediately understood by most adults under 50. So that's probably nobody here. All right. So let's jump over to Lightburn and look at this library that I composed and I have sent out to all of the current registered members on hobowithwood.com. So Lightburn, and let's zoom in here where you can see all these. And actually, you know what? I'm going to zoom in. We'll look at them one at a time. Don't be. Yeah. That, you know what? I might just have to add that one. No, I don't. That's not a might. I'm going to have to play with that concept and add that to the library, Chris. That's good. That's really good. Let's see here. All right, nut allergy, do not enter. We're all nuts. And I got those laughing nuts there from Canva AI. The next one is just a slight play on it. Instead of do not enter, warning. Nut allergy, no question mark. Warning, we're all nuts. Allergy advisory. Environment, 100% nutty. And I use the same 3 pair of nuts there. Warning, high nut concentration beyond this point. Restricted. Authorized nuts only. Allergic to nuts? Wrong place. Nut allergy. How about these? Never mind. Nut allergy. Turn back now. Seriously. Allergy warning. We're all nuts. And there was my family of peanuts. They're the closest one that I got. And is that the last one? Yeah. So that was 9. So I created those 9 pieces, put them in the library, and sent that library out to all of the registered members on hobowithwood.com. If you have not registered to hobowithwood.com, go over and do that after the live stream and let me know that you've just signed up, and I will get this out to you. Are you listening? If you were a patron on Patreon, do not sign up with the membership options that are on the homepage. Look in the content on Hobo with Wood. In fact, you know what? Let me just go get it, because somebody's going to say, I couldn't find it. It wasn't there. I didn't see it. Somebody will. So let me share that link with you. YouTube Studio content. New website is finally ready. Copy shareable link and paste. Paste. All right, so there is a link in the chat to the video. It's only 7 minutes. It's only 7 minutes. Watch the whole thing before you go, oh, I got that. I'll go over and, because if you don't watch it, you're going to go over and sign up. You're going to sign up incorrectly. And then we got to go in and fix it all over again. And sometimes 2 or 3 times. All right. So if you go over to hobowithwood.com, sign up as a member. Let me know you've just signed up. I will get this library out to you. If you're a former patron, watch that video. It was on January 23rd. January 23rd, I published a video on YouTube saying, website's finally ready. Watch that. Follow those instructions if you are a former patron. All right, now, let's go in here and play with. In fact, you know what? We'll do this start to finish. I liked Chris's concept of don't be accountable. And I'm going to ask ChatGPT to help me with the best wording to make it short, quick, simple, but all of it, all the points are there, and humorous, and don't be accountable. All right, we'll try to do it. We'll try to do. Oh, I'm gonna ask the AI to generate a goofy looking peanut wearing a ball cap, eating a bag of peanuts. All right. And yeah, and if you want it, yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that. I saw the light bulb go on. Put some peanuts in a cook pot. Put some peanuts in a cook pot over a fire. Yeah. Now, I like me some boiled peanuts. Now, I know some of y'all absolutely think those are some nasty things, but I like me some boiled peanuts. There ain't many things I'll buy off the side of the road, but I'll buy some boiled peanuts off the side of the road. All right, let's see here. So let's go back. Let's start with trying to get an image using the Canva AI. So let's go over to Canva and switch you over. So I'm going to ask it to create a single peanut, lowercase, caricature in black and white. The peanut, I snorted. The peanut should be wearing a baseball cap and eating from a bag of peanuts like you would get at the ballpark. All right. Let's see what this says. Let's see what it generates. uh they, it's not blatantly obvious. They're not bad, but they're not great. Uh, I want the bag to say peanuts. So if you have Canva AI and you like kind of what you don't want to do, type all that over again, all you got to do is click on you reuse prompt right here, and it's going to put that right back up there. And then I'm going to tell it, say, bag of peanuts should be labeled peanuts. And let's give it another try. These are all pretty good. Now, looky here. To me, that right there looks like it's another slip back to Charles Schultz a little bit. This guy, I I don't know if he's eating the peanuts or he's doing something different with that bag that we can't tell, because he's got a real special look on his face. But this guy here, he's kind of cute. He's cute, but no arms, and he's not eating anything. This guy I like. I'm gonna go with that one for right now. And Ed says need to have one with a squirrel in it. Yeah, you could do that. But here I want right now we're playing with the idea of the cannibal, and the cannibal, you know, the squirrel will eat peanuts. He's not really cannibalizing anything, but here you got a peanut eating a peanut. I like that. All right. In fact, so now what I'm going to do is, and there might be a better way to do this. No, not for this. Not for this. I was getting ready. I was getting confused. I'm thinking making thumbnails, but no. Now I'm going to bring this into Lightburn. So I'm going to come over here to my download button and download this one. It goes straight to my download folder. And I'm going to now take that from my download folder, come over here to Lightburn, and I'm going to zoom out so I've got the center of the page is kind of a blank area, and import from my downloads what we just created. And there he is. I don't know how much that looks like a peanut in his mouth versus a tongue, or it definitely ain't peanut shaped. I don't like all those little kernels or peanuts that are falling around. But I got some ideas. I can work with this. I'm going to now right click and trace and say okay and delete the original. So now I've got that. I'm going to ungroup it. I'm going to get rid of these. So I don't think they add anything and they're not needed. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah, it looks like corn nuts and coffee beans. They didn't need to be there. Those went bye-bye. Now, I got an idea on how to fix this. And these all look like corn nuts and not peanuts. But I can, given as small as it's going to be on the potential engraving, I can live with that bag. But this peanut here needs to be better. That just almost don't look right. So I can get rid of that inner piece, and then get rid of all four of those. So I'm going to drag left to right and just delete I don't want to get rid of that one. So I'm hold control and deselect. Well, there we go. And delete. No, wrong way. Go to wireframe mode. Alt Shift W. There we go. I'm going to get rid of those two and those two. Now, to get rid of this peanut shape, I'm going to use my node editor. Go into node editing, and I'm going to grab anything like there and hit the letter D to delete it and just give a little curve to it. Let's extend these handles out. There we go. That'll make his smile look more uniform. I need to get rid of those pieces right there. Here, I'm going to come down here and hit B for break and B for break. Extend that one down. I'm going to bring this one over here. Hit B for break. And now I should be able to select just that. Yep. Delete that. Node editing. Put those nodes together. And then select all of that. Letter D to delete it. Delete it. And then grab it and just curve it down. So now I've got his smile. Let's connect these. Hit the letter S for smooth. That just smooths that out a little bit. Now, this Whoppy Jonk thing, I can just get rid of a bunch of these nodes. See what I got to work with. Letter D to delete. And I'm going to go here and grab this node. Nope, not that. That's the handle. Grab the node. That's still another handle. Grab the node. There we go. Bring it down here. And grab the handle and just flex it around there. Curve that a little bit. Grab the handles to give it the curve it's supposed to be. And I'm thinking that right there will work. Alt Shift W. Yeah, that's looking better. I ain't worried about anything up here right now because this is liable to get covered up. Unshelled peanuts need to say peanuts in a shell. Yeah, but I think I'm getting ready to cover up enough of this that it's not going to matter a whole lot. Is okay if I am eating popcorn instead of peanuts. Yeah, sure. All right. So now what I'm thinking I'm going to do is I'm going to grab. Well, I'm going to grab one of the goofy ones. I'm going to grab one of these guys. Let's see here. Let's Control D, duplicate that, and then bring it up here. Zoom in, there we go, and ungroup it. Now that it's ungrouped, I think that those are grouped. Yep, those are grouped. So get rid of all of that. And ungroup that, grab that guy. And I'm going to wireframe again, Alt Shift W. I'm going to delete that. Go to node editing. Grab that, the letter D to delete. Letter D to delete. That'll work. And we can get rid of that and that. and that, and that. Node editing. Grab all of these, letter D to delete, letter D. Give a little curve on it. S to smooth. And curve. I want to get rid of that. I don't like that. And let's get rid of his legs too. Letter D. In fact, I'm going to get rid of all that and then just curve that down. There we go. All right. Now let's group that back together. Put it back in fill mode. And now, yeah, now you can't walk around. Yeah, I'm gonna take him. He's obviously a peanut. And I'm wondering, I think I'm gonna put him in like that, maybe. Let's see. I'd fix the mouth and then do a cutout of everything. But I think that's obviously a peanut, and the little character, he's obviously a peanut. So I think that looks better, or it will look better. Let's see here. Okay, good. All right. Let's see. Let's do this. Let's go Alt Shift W back to wireframe mode and go back to node editing. And I'm going to change his mouth now from a smile. Letter D to delete that. We're going to open it up a little more. In fact, we'll just go ahead and delete that. And is there anything in there? There's just that one. All right. He might need to be really getting ready to take him. All right. So now I'm going to take this guy, selector tool, and I'm going to go to wireframe mode so it's a little easier to see. Wireframe, Alt Shift W. And actually, I'm going to ungroup this. I'm going to ungroup it. And I'm going to select just that outer piece. And I'm going to do an offset. I'm going to do an outward offset. And let's do 0.2. No, let's do 1. Let's do 2. 2 mil, 1.5 mil. And say okay. I didn't mean to delete the original. Try that, go back again, turn off, delete the original, and say okay. There we go. Now I'm going to select it all, deselect by holding the control button and clicking on it, and group the rest of the peanut back together. Now hold shift and select the offset and temporarily group that. Put that in place over here. And we have to play with his mouth some more, but let's get the peanut in place first. So let's ungroup that. And he all grouped? No, he's not. Dag nabbit. Now this is where I even, I doing this for going on over a little over 3 years now, and I still struggle with trying to remember the best procedure to eliminate parts that I don't want by using either, do you want to use cut shapes? Do you want to use Boolean tools? Do you want to, which Boolean tool is it? So that's the great thing about the Boolean assistant. The Boolean assistant will show you those options before you decide on one. And if you know that it's not giving you the right one that you want, then it's probably cut shapes. So, but before I can do that, right now, Peanut Boy with his peanut, he's ungrouped. And he needs to be one item, one group. So it's one selected shape whenever you click on it, whenever you're going to use the Boolean tools. So I'm going to select all of him and group him together. So now it says down here, one object. Now that that's one object, I can bring the peanut back in here. And then use this object, hold shift actually, and select the outer offset that I just created. And now use the Boolean assistant to see. They definitely don't want that. Is that what you want? It is and it's not. I don't know. It might be what I want. Definitely not that. Let's look at that. Say, okay. And now put it in fill mode. Alt Shift W. Actually, I think that might work. And it'll be a little bit more work. I don't know that I'm going to do it here on this live stream because we're already 45 minutes in. But before I include this in my library, what I'll probably do is go in and get rid of all of the shelled peanuts that are in the bag and just create a couple of, 3 or 4 peanuts that are overlapping each other in the shell and put those in that peanut bag. Jack says, looks good to me. Yeah, I'm happy with the way the peanut looks, but I don't like those because there he's a peanut shell being eaten by a peanut shell wearing a cap. That works. But I wasn't specific on the type of peanuts in the peanut bag, and it went Atlantic because I wasn't Pacific. I find I just cut the outside out of it and just leave the center parts all connected, then just add that part back in. If it gives you the result you're looking for, that's all that matters. I didn't 100% follow that, but if it works, that's all that matters. Because what have I said? There's only one way to do things on Lightburn, and that's the hobo way. There's always another way. You can get the same result 2 or 3 different ways. And if you get one that works for you, that's what matters. Somehow it seems funny how he was munching on it. He was munching on it. You don't like how it is now? I like that. I like that. Like I said, I will play with getting rid of these shelled nuts out of here and put a couple of peanuts in the shell in the bag. But let's move on. Let's keep going with this, because creating this in Lightburn and coming up, because even on my thumbnails, when I create the thumbnails for the live streams, I will create a thumbnail, download it, and then upload that to ChatGPT and ask it, please rate this for YouTube. And it'll go, hey, that was really close, but you suck. Too many words. That's not centered. That don't work. This don't work. That don't work. Change that color, highlight this, put a shadow there. It tweaks it. I might go through 7 or 8 different thumbnails before I get to the one that it goes, now that's 9.5 out of 10. Use that. And someone once recently mentioned, I should say, that your thumbnails look a whole lot like somebody else's. And I said, well, it's not intentional because mine go through 12 different variations before I ever get to the one I'm looking for. But if they have some similarities, it might be because we're both using AI to help us optimize those thumbnails to make sure they are the ones that grab you and get clicked on. So Chris says, maybe bring the top of the mouth down so it looks like he's biting on it. Okay. What I was worried about, but when you bring the top of the mouth down, you're going to lose that offset of the peanut, which that might be what, when I was looking at it, I was like, yeah, I don't know. I hesitated. And maybe because it doesn't need the offset of the peanut around the mouth. It'll look a lot better without that offset. So let's go in here. Let's go back to wireframe mode with Alt-Shift-W. Let's click on Lightburn. So Alt-Shift-W, there we go. And now if I take and ungroup this, and this is something that I learned a while back, not too long ago. It was actually helping one of the viewers. They had something and they needed some editing, node editing. And there's a lot of node editing. I said, all right, let's do this. Now, I could take this and grab the nodes on his mouth and bring them down so that they wrap around the peanut and grab each line and move it and shape it and curve it. There's a whole lot easier way to do it than that. If I come over here, grab just the mouth and go into node editing, I could grab this and bring it down here like so. Bring this one over here like so. And then you could, try and do all that all the way around, but instead I wouldn't even do that. I just letter D to delete all of those. And that comes down there like that. Now I could take the time to try and grab this and curve that up, get it right there like that. Grab that handle and start playing with it, get it close there. And really, oh, that's really close. This is going to need a couple of more nodes in it. So I'd have to go to letter I. I hit the wrong button. Control Z to undo. There we go. Letter I. Insert a node, bring it to there. And I lost that. Let's put that back. So you start having to tweak nodes. Ain't no sense in doing all that. Put your corner in your corner. Delete everything else in between, letter D. So that's overlapping. Then take and use your offset or your peanut, whatever it is that you're wanting to have the mouth come to. Let's see here. Right now, that peanut's grouped. I'm going to ungroup it. And I want the mouth, actually, I want to get rid of that. So I need that node to come down here to that peanut. So I need to come back to there and bring it down to here. And I'm just going to bring it on inside. And I'm going to bring this one on the inside. And now I'm going to select, let's go back to the selector tool. I've got that one selected. Are those? Okay, yeah. I wanted to make sure it wasn't grouped. That was all the same line. It is. Now I'm going to use that as my cutting tool. I'm going to use that as my cookie cutter. So I'm going to need to duplicate it, because once I cut the mouth out using that, it's going to go away and it's not going to exist anymore. Is that going to give me what I want? I think that's going to work. So I'm going to duplicate that, Control D, duplicate it, and then I'm going to say A subtract B, and we'll use the assistant. Is it A subtract B? Yep, that gives me a perfect. There's a little artifact in the middle there. Well, that's fine. We'll get rid of that. So that, and say OK. And I need to ungroup it because that artifact is in there. And we're going to get rid of that. And I may have to modify that offset. Let's see what that did. Alt Shift W. Yeah, I got to modify that offset. I moved the wrong piece, but that's okay. That's easy enough to do. Alt Shift W. Duplicate this now. Control D, duplicate that, and then take this, A, subtract B, and we'll go back to the assistant. A, subtract B, yep, that looks right, and say OK. And now, Alt-Shift-W, there you go. What do you think, Chris? Is that better? All right, we can do that. We can do that. And Chris says, yeah, much better. All right. Teeth are easy to do. But do you want to do because he's not that abnormal looking. He's kind of a teenager, a typical teenager peanut. Because I don't know if you've seen what I did to this fella and his teeth, but I gave him a snaggletooth. And, you know, I do that with our little man up here, give him a few teeth in the top and give him a little snaggletooth there. And, yeah, buck teeth would be funny. I don't, but here's the thing. We're going to, and I want to get this image as close to done as possible because I'm going to upload this image to ChatGPT so it can see the image and then be able to give me the best possible rendition of or it won't give me one. It'll probably spit out a dozen possible renditions of a caption for that, and then say this might be the funniest, or this might be the best, or this, So I'm going to work on the bag of peanuts, and I can work on adding the teeth, but I would be hesitant to make the little boy too much of a caricature because I don't want him to take away from the humor of a peanut eating a peanut. I don't think it needs to be buck toothed or snaggletooth, but he could have a smile. So I'll add some teeth in there. All right. Well, Santa, have a good night. Squirrel teeth. All right. I think this right now is far enough along that I can share it with ChatGPT and start getting some ideas on the caption. So let's do that because we're at 55 minutes. So let's take this guy, select it all, and group it. And now I'm going to, in fact, I've already got these in my library. I don't need those anymore. Get rid of that. I'm going to bring him down here. And I'm going to put him in my whip. import graphic from project. This is my whip folder or my work in progress. And cannibal, Cannibal. Is that right? Cannibal. Did I spell that right? Let's go over here. Canni. Yeah, Bal. Cannibal. 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 Yep, that's right. All right. Cannibal peanut. And say okay. So now that's in my work in progress folder. And now what I need to do, and now to get this image out of Lightburn and into Chat GPT or your AI of choice, it's really easy. Simply select it, go to your preview screen, and save image right here. Save image. Save it. I save it in my desktop, and we'll say cannibal and save. Now that that's saved on my desktop and it's named Cannibal, I can go to my Chat GPT. There we go. And chat. There we go. All right. Let's go all the way to the bottom. All right. I am actually, you know what? I'm not going to try and type this because it's going to be too. Actually, no, I'm going to have to because I'm using my microphone to talk to you guys. So, uploading. Let's get up here where I can see. Uploading an image of a peanut eating a peanut. Not a pie nut, a peanut. I would like a few suggestions for captions about not being a cannibal. And how did you say that, Chris? Uh, I'm looking for your comment. Well, I can't find a comment. Let's come back over here, get down here. All right, we'll just upload this. I forgot to upload the image. But we without the image. Great concept. Absurd, self-aware humor works well here. If you give it a range tones, you can match the vibe of the image. So let me give it the image. Add files, add photos, and it's on my desktop, and it's called Cannibal. And there it is. Open and upload. Perfect. The image reads cute, plus guilty and oblivious, not dark. That means the captions should lean defensive, absurd, mock justified, not edgy. And now I've got a whole list of possibilities that I can use with this particular piece of artwork. And I'm not going to bother going through all of those right now because that's not what we're here to do. And don't be a cannibal. We serve nuts here. Just for heck of it. Let's just because they're best fits for this image. It's not cannibalism if it's snack sized. Look, I didn't know him personally. Oh, This is nutritional. This is nutritional misunderstanding. It's only weird if you make eye contact. It's only weird it's only weird if you make eye contact. Oh, I prefer the term selective peanutry. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. This is gonna be a good one. I like that. It's only weird if you make eye contact. Oh, David. David says ask AI to add buck teeth to the image. Chat GPT can't do that. Chat GPT is not an image generator or an image AI. There are tons and tons of image AIs out there. I'm sorry. There are lots of image generating AIs out there, but ChatGPT is not one of them. When you ask ChatGPT to create an image, it will try sometimes, and sometimes it'll just, okay, I'll do that. And then it just never does anything because it's not set up to do that. And I tell you, yeah, it's and Terry, I didn't ask it to be humorous. I just asked it, I said, hey, here's the image. Give me some captions for it. Yes, you get the cardboard peanut for the laughs. Absolutely. Oh, that is too funny. I got to take that off screen. I got to turn on library. Actually, you know what? This is good. In fact, let's do this. I'm gonna go back over here to Chat GPT, and I'm gonna highlight this one, and I'm gonna copy it. Then I'm gonna go over here to Lightburn and paste it. All right. It's only weird if you make eye contact. Now, I'm looking here. What we got here? We got 1, 2, 3, 4. We got 8 words. So you could do it in 2 halves. Control D, duplicate that, bring it down here, go into text like that. Oh, no, that's funny. Now that is funny. Sometimes you feel like a nut. That is good. I like that too. Alas, I knew him, Yurig. I knew him well. I don't get the reference there. I apologize, Terry. It's only weird if you, and let's come and bring that over here. And then let's come back up here, select that one and go back into text editor. I need to get rid of you. We're going to come right here. It's only weird if. There we go. And there. All right. Centered all. There we go. Now, I don't know how this is going to work. Let's make it bigger. In fact, let's do them both and make them both bigger. And we'll start there. And I'm gonna show you. I've shown you this before. When they curve your text, you get that little blue circle that pops up there and shows you the circle that's wrapping around. It's a temporary toolpath. That's fine. Yeah, I just don't ever use it, Chris. I did a video on that several years ago. There's an option in the setting to double click text to bring up the text editor box. Yeah, I've I've used that whenever there's a lot of text. And honestly, where I'll use that more than any time is when there's a lot of text and I want it proofed. Then I'll get that into the text editor and then copy it out of the text editor and then put it into a notepad where I can proof it, make sure that there's no spelling errors. That was the one thing that I did ask that, hey, man, it would be nice if we had spell check on these. And they explained to me, and it was very, very immediately understood why they don't have spell check in Lightburn. Lightburn is available in so many languages that for them just to be able to create the spell check, that would be a nightmare upon nightmares. So I said, yep, I got it. Enough said. But that's when they told me, he said, yeah, that was Lightburn Expo 2-3 years ago. First one they did. And he said, yeah, instead of doing that, check out the text editor. And I'm, oh, what's that? And they showed me. And you can copy it, put it in WordPad or something and do your spell check. And then if you find problems, put it back in. All right. Let's see here. Oh, yeah, I've got a love-hate relationship with Shakespeare. I love some of it. I hate most of it. But the one and only time that I ever went up on lines, and for people who don't know what that means, the only time I forgot my lines in a live performance was during Shakespeare. I'm on stage in a big theater full of people live, and you don't improv Shakespeare. You wherefore art, or what am I supposed to? You don't start ad-libbing Shakespeare. And that was one of the most horrific experiences I've ever experienced. And I said, okay, I didn't know enough Shakespeare to be able to flub my way through it. So it was a horrible, horrible experience. So now, squirrel. I showed you that temporary toolpath. Let me show you when I go to curve the second one, why there's a problem and what I do to make sure that they all have the same curvature. All right, so whenever you're curving that top line, you got that temporary toolpath. Well, if you want this line to have the same arc, so it looks like it's the same circle, well, you start curving it around. Well, you can't, where was that first circle at? It was above, it's just below the L and only. So I come up here and that's close. But I don't know. It's not completely round because this is coming to kind of a point. So what I do is I will grab my ellipse tool, get my toolpath, draw me out a perfect circle, and then tell that to go to the center of the peanut. Now I have a toolpath here that's not going anywhere. If I want to make it a little bit bigger, that's fine. Now, when I select this and I start to curve it, I look to make that distance, and I wish I could, that would still, as soon as I move, I look to make the space between my toolpath and that curved line uniform. There we go. Kind of like that. You've seen initially it was out there like that. It was much bigger than the toolpath. So I get it down to where it's uniform with that toolpath. Then I do the same thing with the other one. Where is, there it is. And that one's on the inside. There we go. And that looks pretty good. And now you can get rid of that toolpath. And now that is a much, much closer to a perfect circle around your peanut. Put the shape in a peanut shaped sign. Well, you put the shape of a peanut shaped sign. You put the text in the shape of a peanut. You could do that. It's funny. It's only weird if you make eye contact. That's funny. Peanut shaped sign, allergy sign on one end and this on the other. Make a peanut shaped sign with an allergy warning and on it. Yeah, that'd be funny. Have two signs in one. Would make a nice coaster for bars. Yep. All right. So I've got some more playing to do with this to get it to where I really like it. The problem, in fact, now that I look at this, there's so much going on in that peanut bag that, and right now, listen, how big is this? This is 10 inches. So if, all right, say if it was going to be the size of a coaster, let's group all that and tell it we want it to be 4 inches. Let's lock our aspect ratio. And this is the largest one, so say 4 inches. All right, so there is a 4-inch coaster. It don't need all that detail in that bag, because too much detail, that gets muddy in there and you don't see the poor peanut being cannibalized. So Alt-Shift-W, and let's ungroup this. I didn't ungroup it enough. Ungroup. That we did. And now I can start getting rid of some of these. Oh, now this is why I'm not going to do this here. Because those in here that make those peanuts, if you will, also continue that line out here to make his arm. So this is going to take a little bit of doing before, in fact, just for the heck of it. Let's go with, no, I'm not, because we're already at an hour 15. All right. And Chris agrees. Yep, more or less an empty bag would work. Yep. It doesn't have to have, but just a couple of little curves that are protruding over the surface of the top of the bag that indicate that those are peanuts in there, and a lot of empty space. That would work. So, who was it? Who was it that said that they didn't get the art library, but they thought they were signed up? I'm gonna put the link to the YouTube video. Nope, that's the wrong one. Backspace. There. Post. So there's the link to the YouTube video about how to sign up if you were a previous patron. If you have been paying support as a patron in Patreon, watch that video. In the description of the video, down below the video, there is a link for previous patrons to sign up to have access to the new site and get credit for being a previous patron. Cancel your Patreon support. Everybody that is a patron should, and I am not posting on Patreon that I have moved to hobowithwood.com and leaving Patreon yet. But and I've got to figure out what to do. I've got nearly 3 years worth of videos out there that say, hey, if you like what's going on, go over to patreon.com, become a supporter. I'd really appreciate it. And I've got all these links out there. And then do I just nix it and it's a dead end, doesn't go anywhere? Or I'm waiting until we got everybody from Patreon who was a supporter into the memberships before I make a post on Patreon that I'm leaving it, because I don't want Patreon to cut my access off. If they cut my access off to the website because I'm leaving, then I may not be able to get in there and see who still has credits due. So it's a mess. It's a long mess. But we're getting there. We're making progress. I'm getting more and more done on the website. I'm still working on getting the website tweaked. So the reason that I sent the art library out in a mass email to everybody is because I still haven't got the website working so that when I add to the members only page, everyone gets a notification. When I get that working, that's when I'll post the next, member only access stuff. But I wanted to get this out, and that's why I did the mass emailing. But I'm also working on the ability to allow you to comment on that page, on the post in the membership page. And also, I'm working to eliminate your need as a supporter to use any coupons. You won't have to worry about your coupon codes. Those are going to be a thing of the past. Right now, they're still there and they still work if you have one. But what I'm going to be doing is when you log in, it's going to recognize right away, hey, this is Chris, and Chris is a gold supporter. And his prices on all the digital downloads will be $0. Done. You don't have to use coupon. It's just there. It's $0. If you're silver and you get 80% off, then it's going to be calculated. If it's normally $1, it's going to show you at 20 cents. It's going to show you what your actual price is without using any coupons. So coupons are going bye-bye. Does YouTube automatically generate playlist, or do you have to do it? I have to do it. I have to do the playlist and assign the videos to the playlist. I know it's not desirable or practical for anyone, but please consider signing up for it. It's not desirable or practical for everyone, but please consider signing up for the $30 a month gold on Steve's website. That's Andy saying that. Thank you, Andy. And if anybody's not aware, if you were a former patron and you were a gold at 20 and you're like, I ain't doing 30 a month. Well, if you were a gold member at 20, I do have a special link for you that is grandfathered in so you can continue being gold at 20. With that said, I'm also doing a flip or a little bit of a twist on that. If you were a silver or a bronze, if you were 3 or 9 before, you can still be a 3 or 9 if that's where you want to be. But the new tiers on the membership on Hobo with Wood is 10, 20, and 30. What I'm doing is, so the silver is $20. Anybody who was never a patron before, silver is $20. If you were a patron before, if you were on Patreon and you were at 3 or 9, this is a one-time offer. One time. If you want to sign up as gold for 20, you can do that. I'll send you, if you contact me, I'll send you a special link. If you were previously bronze or silver, I'll give you a one-time opportunity to upgrade to gold for 20, which is what currently is silver. So that's a deal. And now I'm going to touch on this. I got 10 minutes. I've had a few of you that have reached out and talked about the fact you can't use PayPal on some of the stuff now. And here's why that is. On a $3 monthly membership from PayPal, especially if you're an international supporter. In fact, just so you can see that I'm not making this up, I ain't exaggerating. And because I don't remember exactly what it was, let's go over here. I'm going to go to Chat GPT, start a new chat, and for someone paying me $3 on PayPal, and they are a international customer, we'll say that, or not international, an international patron on Patreon. After the international, come on, I wish I could use my microphone, but I can't because I'm talking to you. International exchange, PayPal fees, Patreon fees, etc. How much of the $3 do I get if they are in the UK? And because I got to give it a place to know what the exchange rate would be. So a patron pledges $3. You got Patreon fees, platform fees, process and payment fees. Then you've got Patreon after their fees, PayPal fees. Then you've got an exchange rate in there somewhere. So I get $2 of that. So I lose, 30% of my money right there just because the PayPal and the Patreon and all that crap. Show mine. I don't mind as long as it doesn't show linked card. I don't need to show. Am I? Rusty saying I am a patron and I have logged into the Patreon side. All right. Let me just look at you real fast. Where are we at? I got 6 minutes. Go over here and go back. And take your own sweet time there. Okay, now go to users. And I need to know, Three Rusty Nails, what email address are you using? Do you mind sharing that here? I can look here. I've got some other emails. Do I have anything from you? Let's see here. Rusty. Okay, I got it, I think. Let's go here. Search. And no, sir. Oh, wrong button. There you are. No, sir, you are not signed up right now. And you are not signed up on the new website. You need to go watch the video that I shared the link, and I'll share it again. There, there. Load. Okay, there is a link down there in the comments. And I didn't show the comments. I forgot to turn that on. Show comments in the stream. And you guys, I know some of you see show comments on the stage. There we go. Some of you guys are watching on TV and you don't see the comments, and you're like, hey man, if I forget to turn those on, tell me, hey, turn the comments on. So right there is a link to a YouTube video. Once this stream ends, go watch that video. It will tell you what you need to do to get signed up on the new website. Watch the entire video, then click on the link in the description so you know exactly what's happening. And then on or before April the 1st, I will have exchanged with you another link that will allow you to grandfather in on the old pricing. All right. Because right now you are not signed up with the video or with the email that I have for you. So if your email contains Rusty in it, then I don't have you signed up. You're not signed up. PayPal charges you a conversion rate. Did it charge you? Oh yeah, it sure does. I get charged a conversion rate, and that's why PayPal is. And I don't know if it's from every country, but yeah, they do have a conversion rate. All right. Yeah, Saber Gums, I bet I did it wrong. Well, don't feel bad, because I promise you, this has been and it's because people don't follow instructions. But it's not one person, it's not two people. It's probably 50% of the people do it wrong. And of those 50% of the people that do it wrong, probably 30 to 40% of them do it wrong again and again. Some of them I've had to delete 3 or 4 times, it can be trying sometimes, because I tried to make it as clear as possible in the email or in that video about what you need to do and why. And on or before April the 1st, no one should be paying anything right now. You should have already canceled your Patreon support. And anything that you had that was already paid, plus the fact that I was so absent with building the new website, nobody's being charged anything until April, unless you just go ahead and sign up. Now, if you want to go ahead and sign up and start paying, that's fine. But I'm not expecting anybody to start paying anything until April. I'm giving credit for everything that was paid in December and January and February on Patreon. Anybody that's paid up through then, nobody's paying anything else again until April 1st. And if you need or want to keep the Patreon pricing of $3, $9, or $20, it will require a special grandfather link to get you that pricing. I will have to share that with you, or else you won't be able to get that pricing. Ned says, fix my problem. Fix my problem with the rotary. I put the circumference in the diameter. That'd do it. I do that a lot. I know the difference between circumference and the diameter, but I will, just like when I give you directions and tell you to go down and turn right, you better turn left, because if you don't, you're going to be in trouble. Yeah, I know my left from my right, and I know the difference between circumference and diameter, but I will interchange them every time. Well, we're at 90 minutes, and Andy's asked a question about finding any property. I don't even know what day it is anymore. Did I go yesterday? I think I went yesterday. I went up. I found a piece of property. Now, I'm trying to find a place for me and my dad. For folks that don't know, I'm primary caregiver for my father, who's in the early stages of dementia, and some days are better than others. And I want to give him as much privacy and allow him to still live on his own as much as he can within reason. So I found these cabins that are um, technically RVs, but they're cabins, and they're park model cabins, and they're really, really nice. And so my idea was, if I can get one for me, one for him, set them up, have them connected via porch, be nice. And then I can set up a studio either in a shop or in a garage, something. And I was telling Buddy about it and what I would like to find. And he's like, yeah, man, you describing a unicorn. And I said, well, that I don't know if it's a unicorn because I believe it's out there. And I found something. I found this right here. Two cabins high up on the mountain with a nice overlook of the New River. Good scenery, nice log cabins. And it's riverfront. The cabins are up on the top of the mountain, but the property extends all the way to the river. So I drove up there yesterday, and that's in Crumpler, North Carolina. I drove all the way up there, and before I drove up there, the real estate agent asked me, she said, do you have four-wheel drive or all-wheel drive? I said, nope. I said, I'm driving a Freightliner. And she said, you ain't driving a Freightliner up here. And I said, oh, yeah. She said, yeah, these are not state maintained roads, and these have not been treated or taken care of. You're going to have an all-wheel drive. I said, it's been nearly 2 weeks since any snow or ice has fallen. She said, yeah, but the roads haven't been treated or cleared or done anything. They've never been touched. I'm like, okay. So I borrowed my nephew's four-wheel drive truck and drove up there yesterday. She wasn't kidding about them roads ain't been touched. And this is on the north side of the mountain, and it's in the shade. It had gotten a little hot enough to melt some of the snow, but then it's been cold enough that it's all refrozen. It's just a sheet of ice. Private roads on the bank of the New River. Private roads means no safety, no guardrails, no nothing, on a sheet of ice. And I was scared, very scared. I was able to make it along there. And then when it's time to turn and cut and go up the mountain to the cabins, almost a 40-degree slope, one solid sheet of ice. No way the truck was going up there. You can drive in snow, but you can't drive in ice. And so I ended up walking up there to inspect them. And they misrepresented the cabins. There was more damage to the cabins. The cabins had a leak from the air conditioning system, and it rotted out a lot of the logs and the interior. Even though these are not real log cabins, they're siding, the faux log siding. So the siding's all rotted, but the interior walls and the OSB behind the siding was all coming apart. I could even see rotted 2x4s. So I was like, yeah, this is what I'm looking for, but this ain't it. And then I had such a hard time getting up there. I walked up that icy hill and then walked up the driveway was even worse. It was about a 45 and a sheet of ice. And I said, if the realtor said, well, it don't happen like this very often. I said, yeah, but when it does, you could be up here for, obviously it was a week and a half and still not have any passable egress. And I said, and with my current living situation, that's not acceptable. So I would love something like that, but it's going to have to be on maintained roads. So got to keep looking. Got to keep looking. Ed, Ed was suggesting, take the fifth wheel, gut it, and put a floor in it, and use it as your studio. I could do that if push come to shove, but really for as much work that would have to be put into it, because actually right now the fifth wheel, it's got an 18-foot garage in it, and the garage did not get flooded. The floor in the garage is fine, so I could use the garage in that fifth wheel as a temporary studio. But to actually put a floor in that part that's all flooded, because it's flooded in the main living area and up top, both of those are rotted out or will be rotted out. They're already spongy and squeaky, squeaky, squeaky. To fix all that, it'd be cheaper just to buy one of the prefab buildings or have them come out and build a building on site and put a studio in it. So did a lot of looking, a lot of driving, still looking every night before I go to bed. I'm on Zillow and Land Watch and Farm and Land and you name it. I'm searching everywhere, trying to find something. So there's that. And yes, that was a huge, huge pucker factor on that. All right. That's what I was looking for. Drink. Well, boys and girls, I appreciate you hanging out. I'm going to continue working on, and that is really a funny, and you've seen it. I did not create that. I asked ChatGPT for some suggestions, and it came up with, it's only weird if you make eye contact, and that's even funnier. The eyes on the peanuts closed. So they're not making eye contact. I didn't even notice that. That's good. That might be even something worth making bigger. When I go to clean up those peanuts, get rid of all the little peanuts in the bag, make the other peanut just maybe 25% larger yet, so you can really see that. I think that's going to be good. All right, so I'll keep working on that. And if you are a member on hobowithwood.com, everyone is getting this library. Nearly everyone should already have it. If you aren't signed up or you're signing up tonight, then to make sure that you get it, my feelings aren't hurt to say, hey, I just signed up. I'd like that library. I'll send that out to you. And when I get this modified and finished, I'll send this one out as a single piece that you can then just add to the library. Terry says, might have to invest in a helicopter. That's something I don't know that I would. I don't know that I would want a helicopter. I might would. I've never. I don't have enough knowledge of the NOTARs, but I think those I might like. But a standard helicopter with the tail rotor, I don't think. Because I don't know the NOTARs, which I think is what this is, a no tail rotor helicopter. I think those work differently. I don't know if you have the same collective, and you have to have the left and the right and the subtle movements here and there, or else a flying car would be better. One of the Jetsons, and not the cartoon, but the was it the Jetson 1? Have you seen those? I think that's what it's called. Let's see here. Jetson 1. Yeah, Jetson 1. Switch auto images. So it's just a great big drone. I would rather have something like that than a helicopter with a tail rotor and a collective and all of that stuff going on. I'd much rather have the quad style going. And regardless what I had, it would have a parachute on it. Yeah, I've mentioned before I helped my uncle build ultralight, and I told him I'd go flying with him, no problem, but not until we put a ballistic chute on it. So the airplane or the ultralight had a parachute that you could deploy, I think, from even 50 feet off the ground because it was rocket propelled. I said, now I'll go up with you. This would have to have a ballistic chute on it too. All right. Rusty says, my nephew lives on top of a mountain. He has a 4-wheel drive with a snowplow. Yeah. And here the other day with that 4-wheel drive, it needed chains. I had to have, I could have gone up that hill if I had chains. But 4-wheel drive in and of itself was not enough. All right, boys and girls, I'm going to call it. Gigi's up. She's shaking. You've heard her chain rattling. That's her jerking my chains, and it's time to go feed her. So y'all keep your eyes open for email coming this week with that new version of the cannibal. And I'll see you in the funny papers.